Hello, hello. Welcome to the accountability call number 71. We are here to hold each other accountable to doing all the things and apparently to get our skincare together. Like Eve is oiling it down. Listen, we trying to make sure this black don't crack. Okay. Yes. We are doing all the things. How are y'all today?
I'm feeling good. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy
Monday.
continuation of the Poom Poom month.
Yes. Yes. Continue. All right. So we're gonna dive in on what we learned last week. Anything that we learned, a major takeaway. We are heading into the second half of March. Q1 is about to be over. We are entrepreneur Johns, as you can see by my shirt. And yeah, anything y'all learned from the things? I'm trying to see. Let me see if I sent myself a note or something.
I'll probably say, remember the tagline that we created with the what was it again? Work while you wait.
Yes.
And no worrying in the wait.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I got this one gig started last week, still onboarding to all of the things. It still feels very surreal. But all those actions that I was taking for October, November, December, January, of course now it's starting to come back to me. So I have two opportunities to apply and submit myself to get a second gig. And I said for myself that this year I want 2 gigs, 2 6-figure gigs, or at least 1 6-figure gig and one that's half so of what I want to make. And now I'm having opportunities of people coming to me to apply to things from all the conversations that I had. So yeah, networking, talking to people, and just really believing that you truly are planting a seed, truly planting a seed. I'm learning how to always continuously not take that for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Eve, that is so important. I had a call last week with a guy who a contact sent a connecting email to the both of us to connect us in June of last year. Mind you, it is March right now, okay? It happened in June of last year. And he responded to the email like, oh my gosh, I've been meaning to connect with you. And I'm like, okay, great. And we got on the call. And then he says, 3 people recommended you to me. I was like, I only knew about the one. So we are constantly planting seeds, and we never know what the birds and the butterflies are going to do to kind of pollinate and take and pick up and drop off to these other places. And so even though we can't always see where the next blessing, the next opportunity is going to come from, continue to sow the seeds, continue to plant the seeds, because the wind and the rain gonna do their thing, and it will turn into something productive. But I was super surprised. I knew about the one, so I was just happy about him following up on the email. But lo and behold, more people have been following up with him about me. So that is a really good one.
Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. I think one of my major takeaways from last week was just keep trying. Even if you're stumbling through the steps, even if you started and stopped and started and stopped, even if you haven't been consistent the way you wanted to be, just keep going. I have been, learning and trying to master digital marketing now since November. I have wanted to be way more, just consistent and present and doing the things and putting the reels and all the stuff than I have been doing and have been able to do, given all that's going on in my life and my business. And I had the idea last week, I just launched my travel concierge services, where I will help people be able to just skip the research, skip the overwhelm, and be able to just find recommendations that I gave them, book them, and take their trip. Mm-hmm. And so I went on my Instagram. No, was it my Instagram? Yeah, I went on my Instagram just to talk about it, right? And I went through understanding how to sell in my stories, which I've learned through digital marketing. I haven't been selling my stories the way I wanted to. I haven't been consistent, but was okay, just it's in your mind, just do it right now, right? Me and ChatGPT, Kiki worked it out. And next thing you know, I had like 2 people in my DMs like send me the link. And I was just like, oh, you have learned something. Okay. Like
Mhm.
you have learned something. You are doing the things. Like, and it doesn't have to look the way you want it to look in order for you to be making progress. And I think Z and I talked about it. I can't remember if we were online or offline. Talking about like this is also success. Like this is success. It don't have to be the big thing. Like this DM, I don't care if y'all book it or not. Like the fact that I posted a story and got immediate interest in what I'm selling is a win, right? It is a success. And even with all of the things that I haven't done that I wanted to do, the fact that I took that step, I wanted to do it, I did it, I submitted it, and it turned into what I wanted. I'm just like, wow, like just keep going. Like it don't have to look like what's on your calendar necessarily, like, but just keep going. Like don't give up completely. So that was a real takeaway for me last week because I was just like, wow, like this is the thing that people talk about, like the people who I follow, the people who are my teachers in the course that I'm taking with regard to like having your business on autopilot, like just be having to be able to do it, being able to do it easily, like just post a story and people are booking your thing, right? Like just so I'm looking forward to more of that. I'm excited about that. Actually, yes.
Um,
Oh, go ahead.
my learning from last week was talking about essentially not having a drug dealer mentality as an entrepreneur.
Yes, it will.
The drug dealer mentality says, I put in $1, I need to double up and make 2. And while that sounds good, it's not realistic and it's definitely not sustainable. As an entrepreneur, we have to remember that if it costs us $1 to make a thing and then we make $1.25, we're in the black, right? We made a profit. We made a 25-cent profit. And as you continue to grow, you're able to build your brand and that profit margin can increase, but don't frown at the 25 cents because you got someone to pay you for a thing that you made, and you end up making more money than you had to spend. And that is what business is, not the whole drug dealer mentality, always feeling like you need to double up. And I know that I find myself feeling like, oh my gosh, I haven't matched what I made in corporate, so I'm failing. However, at the same time, I've gotten people to pay me tens of thousands of dollars, to deliver a product or a service. And so that is being in business. So to just kind of let go of these drug dealer dreams of always making double and focus on being consistent and just making a profit.
So good. Like, and it really allows you to let go of this almost unattainable expectation at the very beginning of your journey.
Oh, like, a nice success.
Stop. Yeah. Okay, just stop. And as we're talking about failure, so we wanted to talk about today how to bounce back from failure. Eve sent a Facebook post in our group chat. And it was last week. I didn't get a chance to watch it till this morning. I was like, oh, this is what I needed this morning. Okay, this is what I needed this morning. So thank you. So Eve, you want to share a little bit about what your takeaway was from that post?
It's by Z's seen his post before a lot more than me. What's his name again? Kenneth
Life Engineer.
Yeah, Kenneth Life Engineer. Yeah.
Yeah, so he takes things that he sees on social media and draws parallels or tries to help explain them through very like famous like movies or cinema, it seems, from the 2 or 3 that I've seen with him, to like share, to help people like if you saw the social media post and you were commenting or had like the same type of like thought patterns or feedback or criticisms like the general quote unquote public did, he would kind of rework it and be like, well, why don't you like look at it this way and make it very self-reflective. And this one was all about success and kind of redefining what success is, in I mean, or having a better relationship with the word failure. And quite honestly, for me, my biggest takeaway was in the Iron Man movie that he talked about, he said sometimes you have to run before you walk. And that, like, I was just like, that don't make no French toast sense. What are you talking about? We need to walk first. But it was giving like, be Delulu, fly. Be Delulu, fly, fly. Do everything that you can to see to get yourself to fly first. Because then if you end up walking or maybe end up jogging or crawling or whatever, that's still successful. But um it kind of, it's maybe for me as a person who's a process thinker and I like the step by step, I still might follow steps in my head to get me to be able to get the courage and the bravery to think that I could just go ahead and just fly. But that mindset of just believing that, like, wait, I can fly if I want to, and I could reach for flying if I want to, then I'm going to go ahead and operate as if I'm already flying, or I have all the tools and all the necessary ways of thinking, the ability to critically think, all the support systems to get me to fly. And if I end up walking by the end of just that first round or second or third round, it's still a win. That's kind of how I took it. No analysis paralysis, just fly, bit, just fly.
What blew me away was, so he started with this lady on TikTok who, and this is for my perfectionists. This is for my academically gifted students. Okay, this is for us. She said, if you are always trying to get it right the first time, then you are always in flight or fright, right? That's your state at all times. And what he was saying is that took people aback and kind of snatched people's edges, because we don't consider that to be something that is damaging to our nervous system. But always being in fight or flight, those are both traumatic responses, right? You're in danger, right? When you're doing that, you feel like you're in danger, and your body feels like you're in danger, and your nervous system feels like you're in danger. So if you're always in a place where anytime you're trying to make a choice and you feel like it has to be the right one, or you have to get it right the first time, and that means that your body is always in fight or fright. Well, I can't say this. Fight or fright. That means that you're consistently in a space where you're scared, right? Your body, even though there's no real danger, you're scared, but you're making decisions from that place. You're taking action from that place, right? Your thoughts are in that place. So that was the initial snatch of my edges, like, oh, interesting. Now, we talked about this before, but the difference between choices and decisions, right? But I think around like the failure piece, him showing that even somebody who technically is in the movies, right? Tony Stark is a genius in the movie, like just a genius. And he is okay with having version 1 that ain't perfect. Version 2, testing version 2 to the point where you about to die. Like you're going all the way up in the sky to test it to its full realm, falling completely down and be like, oh, okay, well then I just need to fix it. And then we got version 3. And I think, when he said that these steps along the journey, right? Like Z was talking about making the 25 cent, then making the 50 cent, then making the 75 cent, right? Allowing yourself to take those steps in your profit as a business owner, allowing yourself to take those steps in life instead of looking at the 25 cent as a failure because it wasn't $1, right? Is how you move through, and you're able to quote unquote bounce back from failure, because you don't look at every little thing as failure, right? You don't look at the minor progress as failure. You still look at it as like calibration, which is what he said.
Yeah. The part that stood out to me that I loved is action precedes clarity. You don't know what you need to do until after you start doing things, right? And so bringing in this piece about failure, and what Inez was talking about, he tested it to the limit and found the failure, right?
Yeah.
Like he didn't fail because he tested. He found a failure in kind of in his suit, but in finding that failure, it allowed him to create a solution that his enemy didn't even know was necessary.
Exactly.
That's because he took the action steps to even fly. And so whenever I think about it, kind of using that same model, sometimes in making the 25 cent, you lost 7. You might have been able to make 32 cent profit,
right?
But you lost 7 cents. But in losing that 7 cent, you're still at 25%, 25 cent up, but you've learned something that you need to do differently for the next time. So a lot of times we like to look at the win and not even consider the failures and what we learned in that process. Like we want to tell the story of, oh, I made a 25 cent profit. It's like, well, actually, I lost 7 cents in the process. So I might have even lost 75 cents in the process. It could have been $2, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So I landed with the 25-cent profit. But in that loss, in that failure, there are lessons there. And so to the point of moving out of this fight or flight situation where you always feel the need to be in control, right? One of my favorite quotes says, if you want to live in a state of bliss, you have to move beyond the ego. And the ego is constantly looking to judge, to control, and I think the third one is to critique, maybe, or to be accepted, actually. Right. And so whenever we are controlling things, it's because we want to feel like we're in control, because that gives us a sense of safety. Right. And so moving beyond that and getting to the place where you allow things to happen to you because you know that is going to be for your good, taking action on the information that you know, making choices, and then learning from whatever else comes along the way is really how you move beyond that ego that tells you got to get it right the first time, because you got to be in control of the situation. You are safe, you are okay, but you got to take action. And I think a lot of the failure oftentimes comes from not taking action, not from the action you take. I'll give a real world example. In my head, when I file my taxes, if I don't do something right, I'm going to jail. Like, that's just like the wrong thing that I do, I'm going to jail. So I have had years where I have put off my taxes. And while there aren't huge implications on the personal side, on the business side, there are, right? And so what I learned is the action steps that I took to file my taxes, I did everything right. But by waiting, by not taking action, now I got to pay penalties for not filing it on time. Right. So the failure sometimes is more so in the inaction than it is in the action. So, get stuff done, push through, and you'll learn, and then you'll know what to do for the next time.
Z and I were talking about this briefly this weekend. So one of the things that I'm learning about bouncing back from failure is to allow myself to fail more so that I can bounce back. Because I remember being in grad school and getting a C on a test and sitting at 30th Street Station on my ride home, trying to get my ride home, and literally crying in the station because I got a C on this test in grad school. And I was like, a C? Like, just overwhelmed, right? Like, and at this stage of my life, there's so many things that I have tried that have not worked out the way that I wanted them to originally, or just, I just had, maybe just throw in the towel, or just, I fought for, or just, I'm very much more comfortable with like the uncomfort that comes from not getting it right the first time. Right. And one of the things that I'm learning is that I need to get better at this so that I can teach my daughter how to get better at this.
Yes.
Okay. Because she is exponentially who I was when I was young. And I feel like the timeline is sped up for her. So although she's 5, she already has the standards I had when I hit Morgan State University campus with regard to what it's going to be for her. Right. And I'm like, I was not even thinking about these things. Like, I was not so hell bent, I feel like, on getting it right the first time. Then I don't know, but I didn't feel like I was. And so in this space of learning to be resilient and learning to overcome failure and learning to accept failure, and even coming up with new language for around calibration, or, what's it called? Progress, or, small successes, or just all these things, like figuring it out on my side is really going to be helpful as I rear her and raise her to be okay with not getting it right and having little success and step by step and making the 25 cent and losing the 7 cent, just all of that, right? Like, having the language and having the experience to be able to share with her, like, hey, I did this. It didn't work out well. This is how I bounced back. You feel the feelings. It's not a failure, just all of the things. So it's almost like, it's almost like I'm doing the test run, right? I'm doing the dry run of moving from perfectionist to being somebody who's way more comfortable with progress, so that she can actually step into it a bit more boldly earlier in her life, you know?
Yeah. Man, having kids will show you and show you how you need to grow up you so that you can raise up the future you
Yes.
in a better way. You know, Inez and I are definitely in similar situations in terms of, one, I think we suffer from the gift of getting it right the first time, most of the time. And that created in us an expectation that that's how it's always supposed to be. And we live that life at our big ages now, and you know, I'm seeing that my daughter is living that life in her little age, but with bigger expectations in her little age. And I've seen it, and I'm so thankful for the village that we have. Her teachers are absolutely amazing. And I mean, we had a parent teacher conference on Friday, and her teacher was like, I'm going to continue to push you because I need you to fail at something, not because you're not good, but because at some point you're going to get something wrong, and I need to know that you can pull yourself back together again.
Yes.
Because you have such high expectations for yourself that if you get anything wrong, you fall to pieces. Yes. And she's like, that's not okay, right? You need to know that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail, that you're going to learn. You need to know that your mom is there to support you. You need to know that I am here to support you. But it's also okay to fail. Like, it's not a bad thing at all. And my daughter's sitting there like, okay, girl, but I'm not gonna fail. Like, she's listening, but she's not having it. And then she had something that felt like her first failure. And baby, when I tell you that baby was tore to pieces, okay, she was tore to pieces. And the small version of Zenitra, it was new for her to experience somebody feeling the feelings of sadness.
Right.
That wasn't allowed back in my day. Our girl, hush up, there ain't nothing to cry about. I don't know if anybody that's definitely something that supported my toughness.
Yes.
But also didn't allow me the space to fully process emotions. So little me is like, oh, this girl crying. Like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna just let her cry. And then little me got to a point where like, okay, girl, you crying too much. However, I had to like toughen up and give her the space, and then show up as big Zenitra and coach her and show her, you know, just talk to her about so many different things. Like, the thing that stood out the most is not relying on external validation to truly be like, did you give 100%?
Correct.
Did you do everything that you knew how to do in that moment? Yes.
Correct.
Well, then that is the win.
Yes.
The win cannot be based upon what someone else says or what happens on the outside.
The hand clap.
What reward is received, what acknowledgement, recognition. None of that is what determines your self-worth. Yes. And you falling to pieces means you're giving that more value than you are the effort that you put in. And what you can actually control is you. That's what you can't control whether somebody likes something that you do. You know, your art, like, some people may like it, some people may not, but all you can do is control what you're doing, and that's where the wins are. So being able to have that conversation with a freaking 8-year-old,
listen,
it's like, where's the adult to step in and talk to both of us?
Right.
Clearly, that's supposed to be me.
Where are her adults?
Where are the adults?
Right.
But yeah, like, the faster you learn how to fail, the faster you can get to where you're going, because you'll stop hesitating. You'll stop stopping. Yeah. Because a lot of times we don't take action because we're afraid of what the outcome is going to be. And that outcome, if it's not perfect or what we decided it'll be, then we think it's a failure. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So we all got to move past that as quickly as possible.
Yes. I love it.
I agree.
Love it. It ain't easy, honey. But we can do it. Okay, so let's talk about what y'all did last week.
Got back to America.
Well,
don't catch me slipping up. Don't catch me slipping up. We got back to America, y'all. Together.
So our words for the week last week were ridiculous, peace, and peace. Okay. Okay. I need to know where y'all in your peace.
Baby, I fought for my peace all last week. When I took you, I was on the battlefield for my peace. Literally, like, in active affirmation, prayer,
Yes.
conversation with the Lord to be like, I'm not going to stress. Everything
Thank
always works out.
you.
Everything always works out. And like the amount of times I had to tell myself that and push through any anxiety that I had because I was trying to do stuff perfect. Anyway, but the fact that I did it this week, the peace is there. It's like I fought
Yes.
for the peace last week, so now the peace is just here. Like we don't need to fight. We know that things are going to work out. We're not going to stress. We're going to take the steps. But it was a fight. But I'm glad that I had that word as my goal to keep in mind, so that I was actively working towards it. So it worked.
I love it. Eve, did you fight for your peace?
I definitely did. It so was my back after that 16, 17 hours of traveling because I keep forgetting that was just last week.
Yes.
You just got back.
I just got back here.
Yes.
I think I did fight for my peace, and I also gave myself a little bit of like Friday to work a half day so I could go take care of myself. And I was fighting and being like, "Oh, you can't do that. You just started this new gig." Like, no, ma'am. I'm like, no, I just started this new gig, so I definitely should be taking care of myself right now. But also too, like I made sure to keep up with praying last week, which I think was really good to me. Slowly letting people know that I'm back, so I don't get overwhelmed, overstimulated. Um, uh, and definitely set some boundaries with uh some relationships and stuff like that, which also felt good. Felt bad at the time to go ahead and say them and state them, but afterwards I was like, wait, I'm feeling so much better. Like I'm feeling so much calmer and chiller around like navigating like this potential um gig and everything like that. So I'm feeling good. I think I fought for my peace a little bit towards Denitra said yesterday, but I think I definitely had moments where I was like just sitting in it and being like, you know what, I think I'm feeling good.
Good. Good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm trying to think because my word was ridiculous. And I'm like, was I living ridiculous last week? I feel like I might have been, but I can't even remember. It's like a blur.
It
I
is.
don't know what happened. I really don't. Like, I really don't. Um, but what I will say is, you know what? I will say that this was a part of the ridiculousness. Given that everything that is going on in my current life, I had so much fun last week. Like, baby, but my husband went out. Eve, I ended up getting a massage. The one that took me on a surprise massage date on Wednesday. Was it Thursday? I don't even know what it was.
I love this so
Massage.
much.
Yeah, we went out to this little cute place in Philly called Queen and Rook, which is a restaurant that has all board games for you to play. All
Oh,
amazing, child. Then I went to the indoor water park with my daughters on Saturday,
oh my gosh.
like in Jersey with my friend, and her kid. Then I went to her house again on Sunday, and we just braided hair and talked and caught up. Listen, I had fun. It don't matter like what's going on. And one of the things I've been writing to myself because I'm doing this exercise that I got from Lisa Nichols about like really just like affirming yourself, forgiving yourself, and committing to yourself every day. So every day I'll write 7 things that I'm proud of myself for, that I forgive myself for, and that I'm committing to myself. And one of the things that I'm committed to myself is living in abundance no matter what my bank account balance is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Whoop.
And when I tell you last week, I really felt like I was just in abundance. Like we out here, like we living the life. So yeah, I feel like that was my ridiculous last week. I will say, with regard to the things I put for my goals last week, I think I got one thing done, and that was the Q1 financial planning with my husband. Oh no, 2. I made space for my journaling and my self
Mhm. Mhm.
and my journal and my Q1 planning. I did not release my video, but I did edit it. And you know what? One of the things that I'm trying to start doing is I have this habit of after I put my children to bed, scrolling on social media for an hour and a half. Right. And as a release, and I'm like, one or two things need to happen with that time. Either I need to really wind down and go to
Mhm.
bed, which was on my list,
Mhm.
or I need to use that time to do a mindless activity that still moves me forward. So what I did one of the nights last week was, instead of just scrolling, I edited my YouTube video on CapCut on my phone. Right.
Right.
Which don't take a whole lot of effort. Just click, click, click. But, and it's mindless, but it's moving me forward. Right. It ain't just scrolling. So that's something that I'm going to be trying to like shift this week, is like when they go to bed, like either wind down and go to bed or do something mindless that's still going to move you forward. These are the options. Like, so yeah.
I love it.
I love it. I think last week I also learned that adulting requires multiple steps to get one thing done. So as building out these lists, and it's like, I have 5 things. And for me, honestly, I have 5 categories, and there's probably 4 things under each category that I really be thinking I can get all of them done. Not to mention the things that I don't put on the list. And it hit me last week that it takes 33 steps to do every one of these. None of these generally can be done just like, oh yeah, let me just check it off. So I know in the past we've asked like, what stopped you from completing X, Y, and Z? Like, oh, well, I made it to step 17, but I still got 15 more steps to go, or 16 more steps to
Don't get me started.
and so, but that has also changed how I look at this list, right? It's not a list of things that can easily be checked off, but I should be working on these every day of the week and making progress. If I had to create a journal, I'd almost create like a timeline, like, or a chart, a linear chart that kind of has like start, middle, end, so that you can kind of, you know, mark as you're moving down the line. Because even though a lot of these aren't completed, I took multiple steps in each one of them. So from that perspective, like, I'm super proud of how productive I was last week, even though I think there might be one that I could tell you that I completed from beginning to end. And so that's just a new realization. I haven't decided how that's going to impact how I write my list. And it may just be an awareness that I have, but yeah, so that was a big learning.
Listen, one of the things you need to have on your list every week is being an Uber driver. Because the way you laid out what you was doing last week, the level of here, there, everywhere that is happening in Waxhaw,
girl,
I added to the list because it's just okay, like
so much of my time. Much of my time. Yeah.
Eve, how did you do last week?
I think I played myself a little bit. I'm on here with like just coming back and just getting back into the rhythm of things. But in terms of self-care, I have not danced. I've been shaking though. Because we love to shake. I have not danced. I've been taking my tea, haven't been doing my language stuff. Sleeping early is just basically happening because of jet lag. So I feel like I should just keep up with it so I could keep waking up early. Praying libations, I did. The first engagement I got started, deliver excellence until August. And I'm still onboarding, so that's fine. And I had on here digital product templatize your brain. That was not gonna happen. I definitely did got some clarity on some ideas around what I probably would want to templatize with the help of Chat GPT. I'm getting so many different names for Chat GPT. You call it Kiki, someone else I know call it Uncle AI. I'm just
Girl, my friend call her Miss Loretta.
I love it. So I need to find a way to move forward with that. And then I had on here find a tenant expeditiously, which I started some marketing and stuff like that for it. But I think I gotta go like grassroots, make a flyer, post it around the neighborhood type of situation. So I will be working on that this week. So I'm gonna give myself a little bit of grace because I definitely got a lot of other things done. Checking up on the property and connecting with folks, getting groceries, life stuff. But but it's time to buckle down.
So what are we doing this week?
Mm.
This is our first week of homeschooling again. Here we are again. Our babies are home. Although I feel so much more why having a supportive spouse is a game changer.
Listen, speak on it.
Because I feel way less anxiety, worry, stress on doing it this time than I did last time. And it's really because my husband has just really leveled up his game in the last 6 months. Like, and it's just like he present doing the thing. So huge. So one of my things on his be a present homeschooling mama, because I have them all day tomorrow, I have them all day Friday, and I have all day Sunday. And we don't really do homeschooling stuff on Sunday. But I'm like, I really have time in my schedule to get what I need to get done so I can show up as a present mother. And I was watching a video online and it was saying they were saying, what is the indicator or makes the difference in being a good mother? And it's having a supportive partner. Because if a mother has the support, she can show up and just focus on her children and be present. But when you don't have a supportive partner, you're doing all the things. So you can't just be present with your children. I was like, this is the truth. Okay. So the other thing that I need to do is finalize this Deep in Zimbabwe April trip. I've decided that I'm going to take things in my own hands. If I don't get the status updates that I need, literally by tomorrow, I'll be taking things into my own hands and doing what I need to do and what I've always done. Right. This is my first time outsourcing a trip to a in-country contact. And I'm used to being not only hands-on, but on the ground. So I might have to do some of the things. I also have go to bed be on my list again this week, and I've added to it and get up early. Okay. Because I know that I'm going to be able to get even more done if I can get up and get an hour in before the girls get up. Also, I need to find a new bankruptcy attorney because you know what I can't stand, and this is for my entrepreneurs, my service providers, whoever it is. Nobody should try to hunt you down. Should have to hunt you down for you to provide a service. The service that you provide.
No.
Nobody should have to hunt you down. If you do not have the bandwidth, if you cannot deliver, if you're full, you need to just be like, okay, I can't do it, and refer somebody. Something. I feel like I have been going around in circles with these people trying to get them to, just answer an email, you can give a call back. And I was like, last week I was just like, and I feel like I've been avoiding moving on to the next thing because I'm like, I've spent so much time with them that I don't want to start over. But I'm like, everything works out for me. So when I start over, it's just going to be whatever I need because you're not what I need. Yeah. I'll be doing that this week. And then uploading my YouTube video that I edited, sending it to my email list, and prioritizing my health daily, which thankfully I can do with the help of T1 because he's the food bully. So yeah.
My list looks a lot like it did last week, but there's more of a focus on finances, at least for the top of this week. Not that it wasn't last week. I just again did 17 steps, got 16 more to go. So that's included my personal budget, business budget, and I've wrapped up 2024 finances for one business, 2 more to go. That's what I get for being an overachiever and having multiple businesses. But anywho, and then I have some client work to do. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clients. So that's constantly running, even though I did check off a few things last week. So I am proud of that. The digital offering, I want to do something with it this week. That's going to be another 17, 20, 33 step process. I don't know that I'm going to get 17 steps done, but if I can get 5 done this week, 5 things for my digital offering, that would be awesome. For my apparel company, I have another co-working call on Friday with people who have some expertise that I need. So I need to see if I can get my shop set up so that they can walk me through kind of the next steps. So from a fitness perspective, I'm still doing no meat for the month. I survived dance competition, being outside of the house, and still not eating any meat.
Good job.
So I'm very proud of that. And I'm starting, this is day 1 of 75. I haven't decided if I'm going to market that I'm doing 75 hard. I do want to try to do 2 a day, but I'm not pressuring myself. 1 a day is plenty. As some folks like to call it 75 soft. I love all of the things that are a part of 75 hard. I'm not ready to be like, this is what I'm doing. I'm not pressuring myself. So, because I'm at being able to drink 1 liter of water a day is my goal, not a gallon. And being able to read, I think theirs is like 10 pages. That one I do want to add to my list on this. When you were talking about replacing that scrolling time, that's what I'm focusing on too. Like, 10 pages a day in 10 days, that's 100 pages. It's 30 days in a month. You can read a whole damn book in a month just from doing this. So that's definitely part of the goal. I did not take any steps to getting that intern. So that's something that I want to, that's part of what I was calling in. I definitely want to take some steps on that this week. 100K contract, still calling that in, even though I feel like is around the corner. Like,
yes, ma'am.
For me.
Come
on. And that's going to go into the whole debt cancellation, and then always peace in the process. And the way I feel peace today.
Yes.
Be everlasting. Okay. I feel so like, okay, let me just do what I got to do. I'm not stressing it. I'm taking the steps. So yeah.
I love it. I have on here for me. For self-care, I'm going to I need to dance in the house because it's cold outside. Continue drinking my tea and my herbs. Sleep early, praying libations. For engagement 1, that's going to be on here for a while, just like deliver excellence as per usual until August. Engagement 2, apply to 3 opportunities that I saw. And then I have on here IDTT strategy session with Inez. And then finding a tenant expeditiously, and then moving into the next step of the digital product, Templatize Your Brain. Yes, just moving to the next step. I'm not going to be finished. Just making that very, very clear. Lord of mercy, God. Perfect. That's it. That's it for me.
Okay. So we always do a word of the week. Are we keeping the same words from last week? Are we doing new words? What are we thinking?
I don't know why I want to choose delusional.
Yeah. My word is enough. Like, I'm enough. I don't need to learn nothing else. I don't need to, just know that you're enough. I feel like, enough came first, but action is second. And then the song, action. So maybe action is it. But it's like, I need to be reminded that, like, you have everything that you need to take steps right now. There's nothing missing. You're worthy. So enough is like the foundation for all of it. Once I accept that, then I can take the steps.
I like that a lot. My word for the week is going to be no. KNOW. Like no. Okay. And it is alluding to the scripture, be still and know that I am God. And just being in a place where I know what has worked out for me in my life. I know that God is my refuge and my strength. I know that he looks out for me. I know that I'm the chosen one. I know, what my heart is. I know who I am. One of the things I was listening to was a podcast about rebranding, right? Like rebranding yourself in the year, 2025 and blah blah. And as I was listening to it, I was like, I'm not doing a rebrand.
Mm-mm.
I was just like, that's not where I am this year. Like, that's not where I am. I am in a place where I'm leaning in to being more of who I already am.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, and so the word that came to mind was amplify. Right. Like, I'm not rebranding. I'm not shifting. I'm amplifying what I've already done. I'm amplifying who I already am. I'm amplifying, what I already know about myself, what I already know in this space. Like, it's just going to be bigger and bigger. So my word for the week is no, because I'm like, just lean into the knowing. Lean into the knowing that it is all going to work out for my good. It is all going to be, in the end, exactly what I've always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
But better.
And
better.
Because we still in the exceed me Jesus era. Okay.
Listen, what did I send to a friend of mine? It was accelerate me, Jesus.
Faster.
Listen, I don't even know. There was some post and they were talking about just he is going to accelerate things. I was like, yes, exceed and accelerate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Exceed and accelerate me, Jesus. Like, please.
I love that.
Yes. All right, y'all. We have wrapped up another accountability call. We will see y'all again next Monday. Drop your goals in the comments. Let us know what your major takeaway was. Subscribe if you want more of this. I'm like 3 subscribers away from 500. So y'all gonna subscribe. Yes, let us know what you want to know more about, topics you want us to cover, and we will be here next week. Bye, y'all.